Hello?
From a hidden stalker filming your camp in the dead of night to unseen footsteps echoing in an empty attic, isolated camping encounters share one chilling detail: realizing you aren't alone. Would you stay to find out what's out there or run? December 25th, 2023. The haunted farm in North Carolina on Christmas night. Everyone else was home with family, but CJ Faison was alone, parked beside the burned bridge on his own haunted property. He had no idea that stepping out that night would lead to a disturbing and unforgettable camping encounter.
Wake up! I'm here, bitches!
Oh man, I always wonder why things like, just hate me. Well, there's the reason right there, so.
This will at least
It began inside the farmhouse. The Annabelle doll had been secured inside a cabinet. Minutes later, it was positioned upright on the kitchen floor, facing him.
It was in the house. Whatever that was in the house.
Then a heavy, deliberate impact came from the attic. CJ went upstairs and found nothing. Back in the kitchen, the piano keys slammed violently. There was no wind, no one inside, just him and whatever was connected to that doll.
He promised us they're like super haunted and all. I've not witnessed anything, so I'm not sure. That was a boom, and that was in the attic, it sounded like. Can you make that noise again for me? Oh, shit. All right.
Later, inside the van, the situation escalated. Footsteps moved around the vehicle, slow gravel crunching as the van shifted once, then again.
And I told you all I'd go camp in the Pocomoke in this van. I guess that's my next camping trip in this van, so. I hear footsteps.
Hello?
A branch snapped directly above the roof.
Freaky in here.
Oh no. Oh,
That's dang scary. Good night, spirits and demons.
Something heavy scraped across metal, and then everything went silent, leaving behind a tense and isolated camping encounter atmosphere, where every sound felt intentional. Later, viewers noticed something he did not.
He was saying down there by the water, and maybe this little girl just made a noise on the metal, because that's exactly what that sounded like.
Just before the van moved, a shadow passed across the rear window. It looks like there's a coffin in the kitchen. Sometimes events like this don't feel random, but connected in ways that are hard to explain. If you experienced a moment like this camping encounter, would you stay and try to understand it, or leave before it escalated further? The YouTube channel Midwest Ghost Center, run by paranormal investigator Ian Crandall, focuses on systematic exploration of haunted historic sites, often located in isolated environments where unexpected camping encounters can emerge. The channel combines careful observation with a calm, controlled approach, documenting strange events and unexplained activity inside structures often left to age and decay. On November 29, 2024, Ian arrived at the historic Argo Hotel, a landmark long associated with the haunting stories. With the building closed to other guests, he prepared to record whatever remained inside a place layered with mystery, faded elegance, and quiet stories of those who never fully left.
I mean, if I was a spirit, this would be the perfect place to haunt. It's cozy, warm, but there's definitely an eerie vibe to it as well when you walk in. Hello? What the heck was that? I swear to God, it out of the corner of my eye. I saw something. It was right over here. Is there someone over here? I mean, it could have been my eyes playing tricks on me. It's definitely possible.
The hotel welcomes him with an unusual warmth, beautiful. Each corridor seems to tighten around him. A faint glow suddenly appears at the edge of the frame and disappears before the camera can capture it.
Not catching anything in those ones. That sounded like a lady's voice right there. I swear to God, I just heard that right behind me. Alice, is that you? She's that ghostly woman that they see wandering around. Could you say something again? Is that you I just heard? Whoa! Whoa! There's something standing right over there. It was right behind that couch. It was like a mist or something. But I'm not seeing it anymore. Okay, Alice. I think I see you over there.
As Ian moves deeper through the corridors, a pale figure briefly appears at the far end before retreating into shadow. A soft feminine sound follows. The camera reveals only empty furniture arranged for guests who never came.
Okay, never mind. It's over here. I'm almost certain it's coming from this door. It's said to be one of the most haunted rooms. If you're in there, could you make a sound through that door? See what happens if I knock on it. Anyone home? Whoa! No freaking way. Dude, that doorknob, this freaking thing, it just freaking jiggled all by itself. And there should be no one in here. Hello? Who just moved this doorknob? Whoever's haunting this room?
The quiet hallway is interrupted by a subtle movement of a door handle that begins to tremble slightly before shifting on its own. Inside the room, the atmosphere feels heavier, carrying a faint scent of dust and aging pipes.
Okay. I just heard something. Over by one of these chairs. I don't know which one. If you just moved one of these bar stools, could you move it again? Okay. What the hell was that now? That sounded like one of these glasses moving around. This is getting crazy. I'm hearing noises all around me. Could you move one of those wine glasses up there? Could you tell me who you are? Not hearing him again.
In the dining area, a faint clink of glass from behind the bar breaks the silence. The sound is subtle but clear, like two pieces of crystal lightly touching, yet mirrors and bottles reflect only emptiness.
Hello? Who's making noises in here? No way, that just moved. Did I really just see that? This glass just slid across the freaking table. I've got goosebumps all over my arms right now. Look at that. It was like right over here. And it just went right into that. No, they're not. So that rules that out.
Moments later, a glass moves with precise control across the table, while everything else remains perfectly still, making the motion stand out even more.
I'm not alone in this room. I am not alone. That sounded like the bed. Holy shit. No way am I going back in there. Hell no. I am literally desperately fighting not to scream right now. Just unraveled all on its own. Oh God. Just look at that. How is that even possible? That is literally one of the craziest things I have ever seen.
The bed, which appeared untouched moments earlier, begins to shift slightly. Blankets slowly move across the mattress as if disturbed by something invisible.
That came from this corner. Oh God. Did you just make that noise? It definitely came from over here. Little girl, if that was you, would you be able to... That's it. That doll just turned and looked at me, and I am done. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Deeper in the basement, a row of old dolls sits along a shelf under dim light. One of the heads shifts slightly, turning toward Ian. The change in the doll's gaze is subtle but unmistakable. Sometimes the quiet moments are the most unsettling. Several viewers pointed out how the movements felt too precise to ignore, while others believe the reaction seemed almost timed to Ian's presence. Some think it's just the mind filling in the gaps, but others aren't so sure. If you were there, would you trust what you saw, or convince yourself it wasn't real? The Canham's Outdoors is a YouTube channel centered on solo overnight camping trips, where the creator travels through the British countryside searching for quiet and secluded places to spend the night. In May 2024, he made his way to an old quarry deep in a remote area and set up his hammock between two trees. While the sun was still out, it seemed like a suitable spot, open, quiet, and away from everything. However, things quickly went beyond what he had planned, turning that night into an unforgettable camping encounter. As the night continued, the noises kept coming. Sounds he couldn't explain, couldn't recognize, and couldn't ignore. At one point, a sudden disturbance broke out around 20 meters from where he was sitting. Loud enough and close enough to make him uneasy. But more than the sounds, it was the feeling that affected him most, a constant creeping sense of being watched. He found himself repeatedly scanning the darkness, looking behind him again and again. Something he admitted was not normal for him. The quarry was unusually dark for such an open space, and that darkness felt heavy.
I just feel like someone's watching me. Every now and again there's a noise. Yeah, it's too spooky. I just don't feel right. I think I'm going to get out of here.
He decided to pack up and leave. But even as he gathered his belongings and started moving back through the quarry toward the van, the noises continued. Whatever was causing them was still out there, somewhere in the darkness around him. On the way back, he lost his direction, moving through the quarry before finally reaching the van. Back inside, still clearly shaken, he went over what had happened, and that's when he mentioned something that made the situation even more unsettling.
Right guys, just got back to the van. Bloody hell. I got lost and everything. That place weren't for me. It's just too creepy, hearing noises. When I was on my way in there, I could hear ladies sort of talking in the bushes, and I'd sort of look round, there was nothing. That put me on edge a bit.
Earlier that evening, before any of this had begun, He had heard what clearly sounded like a woman speaking in the nearby bushes, but there was no one there. He had no explanation then, and he still had none now. Sometimes a camping encounter like this doesn't need anything visible to feel real. The sounds, the timing, and that constant feeling can be enough to change everything. If you were alone in a place like that, hearing something you couldn't explain, would you stay and keep going, or leave before it followed you further? Just after 5 a.m., alone on a storm-battered mountainside, in complete darkness, he notices it. A light. Not far away, not down in the valley, but only about 10 seconds away, placing him directly inside a tense camping encounter in a remote and exposed environment. This video was uploaded on January 23rd, 2026, on the channel Sort of Interesting.
I then snapped my head back because I've spotted, unbelievably, at something past 5 in the morning on the side of a mountain, I've spotted a light right there. Only a matter of a 10-second walk away. I have that moment where the pit of my stomach becomes the most prominent part of my body.
The beam rests directly on the path he had just taken, cutting through fog and rain. In that moment, his stomach drops. There's no horizon, no houses, no vehicles, just wind, rain, and that light.
Dark. I mean, it's total darkness. I can't even see a difference. Because of the stormy, murky sky, there was simply utter darkness. Get my bearings and to try and sort of get my mind to figure out a blank. So it's quite interesting. It's a little bit unnerving and oppressive to just have the light of my headlamp. And after an hour or so,
he stops, convincing himself it must be a farmer. He waits, speaks to his camera, adjusts his gear, but no one approaches. Then the light disappears, leaving behind a silence that makes the situation feel even more unsettling. Later, while reviewing the footage, he zooms in and notices something beside the glow, a faint, pulsing flicker, infrared, suggesting a phone camera recording in the dark.
That I could have been being observed and filmed at that moment. And so, looking at the footage now, next to the main light, and I believe that that is the infrared sensor trying to do whatever these phones do. And I think I was being recorded on a mobile phone there. I have become the accidental campsite discoverer and intruder passing by. The flash has come on their phone and given away their location, stood completely open on the track, thinking they're invisible to me. And of course, trying to film owls hooting out of my girlfriend's window the other night, purpley light, which I believe is the reflection of my own phone's infrared pulse. That's what I think was actually happening, that I was being filmed. And now in hindsight, it was a spooky experience in some ways.
In that moment, he realizes he may have been watched and recorded. Someone hadn't just been there, someone had been filming him, standing out in the open, silent, watching as he spoke casually to his camera, unaware he was only a few feet from a hidden camp.
And it definitely gave that utter dark environment a much spookier feeling for the rest of the day. I do wonder who and why and what the situation was out in the small hours, who couldn't believe themselves that they had stumbled across another person. And I would have been visible leaving there because it was so dark you had to have a light on of some kind. I would have also seen them multiple times over the...
When he returned to the area later, there was a single fresh footprint appearing after his own, and it didn't match. As daylight revealed more of the trail, the position of the light became clearer, a location perfectly suited to hide a tent or bivvy quietly.
So when I came back to this area later on in the day, there was one footprint clear that was fresh and had arrived after mine. No other sign of any sort of sign of life there. When I walked a little further down the track, you can see roughly where that light had been. Perfect for sneakily hiding a tent or a bivvy bag amongst.
On a remote mountain in harsh weather, before sunrise, he had not been alone. And if someone was there, they chose not to be seen. Anyone with bad intentions would not need any visible light. Sometimes situations like this feel too precise to be random, as if something was already there and simply stayed hidden. If you realized someone had been watching you the entire time during a camping encounter, would you stay calm or leave before it turned into something worse? As darkness settles over the forest, he makes a risky choice, to watch Annabelle alone inside his tent, far from home, setting the stage for a tense camping encounter. This video was uploaded on November 4th, 2024 on the YouTube channel Rambling On. One earphone stays in place while he continues listening to the woods around him. Rain begins to fall, tapping against the fabric as the horror movie grows more intense among the trees, blending the sounds of the film with the isolation of the environment.
So the movie I've chosen is Annabelle. I've never watched it, so I think I'm going to try and watch. I don't have one on this side because, you know yourself, I want to be aware of my surroundings. Let's see what we can do here. Jeez.
On screen, a baby cries in the dark. Inside the tent, the rain suddenly becomes heavier.
Do that. Oh, we're buffering. Can't say I'm upset about it. Oh no, I can't watch the rest of it. Okay, I have it sorted. I took the opportunity to move the camera. Come on now. I'm actually...
Then everything cuts to silence. No movie sound, no distraction, just the storm and the forest surrounding him. He tries again, and the film resumes. A demonic figure flashes across the screen, and at that exact moment, wind shakes the tent walls. The flame on his stove flares up violently, forcing him to shut it off before it burns through the fabric. For a brief moment, panic replaces humor, turning the situation into a real-world camping encounter where timing feels too precise to ignore.
I'm kind of in. I don't want to bring the stove in here because of the splatters of grease and stuff. I'll at least try and get this one done. Make life easy on myself. It's a bit stuck.
Later, near 5 a.m., he wakes to non-stop rain. The river beside his camp is no longer calm. It's roaring. Water begins flowing behind his tent. He unzips the door and sees that the floodplain is filling quickly.
So I'll see you in the morning. It's 10 to 5. It has not stopped raining all night long. I've only got one earplug. I don't know where the other one's gone. It's in here somewhere.
The real danger wasn't the movie. It was the environment around him, shifting without warning.
That I'm on the floodplain of a river. So I'm hoping it's not raining enough for it to flood. It does sound like it's flowing a bit more enthusiastically. We should be fine. Should be fine. I'm gonna try and get another hour's sleep. I shouldn't have said anything.
Sometimes, a camping encounter like this isn't about what you see, but how fast things change around you. The timing, the pressure, and the environment can turn in seconds. If you were in that situation, would you stay and wait it out or leave before it became impossible to escape? Just after dark, deep in the Idaho woods, Angry Owl Outdoors had finished eating and was settling in beside the creek. The mosquitoes were constant, but the forest itself had gone quiet. That silence marked the beginning of a terrifying camping encounter that night. Then it happened. From just beyond the tree line, something shattered the stillness. An elk barked.
Stop.
Massive elk barked just beyond the trees here. It made Falcor flip out. I had to throw him in the tent. I got to go back and see if I even caught the bark. It did it a couple times. Very cool, but I could hear it crunching through the trees over.
Not the distant, echoing call you expect across valleys. This was sharp, aggressive, and close. Close enough to feel in his chest. His dog reacted instantly, lunging and growling toward the trees. He barely managed to grab him, throwing him into the tent before he could run into the dark.
Through the trees over there, and it kept wandering up the mountainside this way. So there's a lot of bear too, but they leave you alone for the most part. It was just out of this world almost.
Branches snapped. Heavy footsteps pushed through brush just yards away. Circling and climbing the slope above camp, the barking came again, louder and more aggressive, followed by the clear sound of something massive moving uphill.
Fire died down. Get ready for bed. Got bed all situated. I'm fed, so now time to just sit back. Temperature's dropping, and it's a pretty nice evening. All right, guys, so finally time for bed. It's definitely time to sleep now. So This tent's working out fantastic. Nice and spacious. I got plenty of room for all my gear. My bag and gear is actually underneath the camera right now.
He stood still, listening. Whatever had been watching from the trees had finally made itself known, and it was far larger than he expected.
Sit.
All right, good morning, guys. Well, not a bad night other than the coyotes started popping off at about 5.
Sometimes a camping encounter like this isn't about what you see, but how close something gets before you realize it. If you were there in the dark, hearing something that close, would you stay calm or move before it got any closer? Sometimes a camping encounter doesn't happen out in the wilderness, but inside places that should be empty. When every sound seems to answer you, and every movement feels timed, the real question isn't what's there, but what's already aware of you. Ghosts on Trent is a YouTube channel run by Mark Stockton, a British creator who explores abandoned buildings and locations believed to be haunted across the United Kingdom. In his videos, he spends nights inside these places, using tools such as audio recorders, spirit apps, and cameras to capture anything unusual that might occur. On August 11th, 2025, Mark returned to an abandoned farmhouse in the countryside after strange activity had been recorded there during a previous investigation. With the Ouija Brothers team seeking a second opinion, Mark brought along another investigator named Paul to examine the farmhouse again and see if the same unexplained events would happen a second time.
Attic. You go up there then, mate. Yeah, well, maybe man will look on. What the fuck was that? Do you hear that? You go up there then, mate. Yeah, well, maybe man will look on through. Just be careful of that floorboard, man. Do you hear that? There's one more place we need to check. Attic. You go up there then, mate. Yeah, well. What the fuck was that? Do you hear that? Was it brakes outside on the road? No, it was he. He went, ooh. I'm getting goosebumps, man. Yeah, that was really loud. That was brilliant. If that's the only way you can communicate with us, we really do appreciate it.
Not long after entering the empty farmhouse, the atmosphere shifted suddenly. While checking the upper floor, an unsettling sound echoed through the structure, faint but strong enough to stop them both in place. The sound resembled a woman's moan, with no clear explanation for what had broken the silence of the building. Despite the unease, they continued searching for answers to questions they may not have wanted to ask.
When I first came here, it happened somewhere else in the house. That's what makes
tell
you...
me.
No. It sounded upstairs.
Was that what we heard this?
Well, let's just... Fuck. Let's take 5 1 minute, man.
Okay.
The same sound echoed again, slow and deliberate, almost like someone carefully walking across the floorboards directly above them. When they moved upstairs to investigate further, the noises changed into something even harder to explain. The voices were not clear enough to understand, but distinct enough that both men immediately recognized what they were hearing. After searching the corridor and attic again, the farmhouse remained empty, yet the tension in the air suggested whatever had been there had not gone far.
We're going to come up there, but if you don't want us to, make a noise, and we'll stay here. If that's what you want, we can make that happen.
What the fuck? That was loud as fuck. My God.
We're going to come up there, but if you don't want us to, make a noise, and we'll stay here. that's what you want, we can make that happen.
Mate. So you want us to stay here?
Do you hate people being here?
A sudden response followed, like a powerful impact coming from the level above them, far louder than any previous sound that night, arriving with unsettling precision.
We are going to be leaving soon. We've been here for a very long time. We're going to come back. Are we okay to come back to your home? If you don't want us to come back here, make a noise. Use your voice. What an incredible night. Leaving here speechless once again. It's been a great investigation.
I believe in it.
Do you?
Mate, you know, that especially that what really, really made me think, I thought, whoa, when you said about that knock.
We've just been up there, we haven't heard it.
Heard nothing.
Later, the investigators climbed the staircase again, cautiously returning to where the earlier sounds had originated. But once they reached the upper level, the activity stopped completely. The same rooms that had produced heavy impacts, footsteps, and distant voices were now silent. The farmhouse returned to complete silence as they prepared to leave, but the unanswered questions remained, leaving behind a lingering sense of a controlled and reactive camping encounter. Sometimes a camping encounter like this doesn't need anything visible to feel real. If you were in a situation where something seemed to react to you but never showed itself, would you keep going or leave before it answered again? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.